Hi, welcome to your 3-3 flip video. 3-3 is all about simple interest, and we learned an equation today. Simple interest, the equation I equals P times R times T, where I is interest, P is principal or your initial deposit, R is your rate, and this is given to you as a percent, typically 3%, 5%, something like that. And time is your time in years. All right, this is really important. We'll get to this later on, but time has to be your number of years. All right, so I equals PRT. Interest equals principal times rate times time. We also learned balance. So the amount of money in your account at any given moment is your interest plus your principal, right? It's the amount of money you put in plus the amount of money that the bank gives you. All right, so make sure you have these available. We're going to need these equations to answer some questions, all right? So, suppose you deposit $250 in a bank account that earns simple interest at 2.5% per year. You keep your money in a bank for 3 years. How much interest have you earned? What is the balance? So, two-part question. Let's start by writing down our equation. Interest equals P times R times T, principal times rate times time, all right? I'm going to highlight some important information. So I know my deposit is $250. I get 2.5 interest every year, and my money's in there for 3 years. So my principal is $250, because that's how much money I put in. My rate is 2.5%, and my time is 3 years. So interest equals 250 times 0.025. So remember, you got to turn your decimal into your percent into decimal form. So 2.5 turns into 0.025, and then 3 years, it's already in years, so I just plug in the 3. So interest is equal to $18.75. So after these 3 years, the bank has paid me $18.75. So how much money is in my account? Well, balance is equal to principal plus interest. Well, I started off with $250, and then I made $18.75 in interest, so my balance would be $250 plus $18.75, which is $268.75. All right. Now let's say you deposit $3,000 into a bank account that earns you 6.2 simple interest each year. If you earned $2,046 in interest, how long has your money been in the bank? So let's start by writing out our equation. And let's highlight some important information. So deposit's $3,000. Your simple interest rate is 6.2% each year. And you earned $246 in interest. How long has your money been in the bank? So you'll notice the question, how long has your money been in the bank? That's telling you what variable to solve for. All the greens are variables that we know. So I know my P is 3,000. I know rate is 6.2%. And I know I made interest in the amount of $2,446. All right, so interest $2,046, principal $3,000, rate 6.2. I don't know time. The question's asking me how long, but that's okay. There are 4 variables here. Anytime you're given 3 out of the 4, you can always solve for the missing variable. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug it all in. So 2,046 equals 3,000 times 0.062 times t. And now we're just going to solve for t. So let's move it over here. 3,000 times 0.062 is 186. So 186 times time is equal to 2,046. How do you get time by itself? You divide both sides by 86. The 86 cancel on the right. And you're left with time equals 2,046 divided by 186, which is 11. So it's 11 years. All right? So you left your money in the bank for 11 years. All right. So in some situation, interest is accumulated on a monthly basis. So if you have a really nice bank, they'll give you monthly interest instead of yearly interest. So when your rate, your R, is an annual interest rate, the interest rate in the formula, interest equals principal times rate times time. Time is in years. That's why I highlighted it right here, right? See, years is underlined. So the reason I highlighted that is because sometimes you're given the amount of money in months. So you have to figure out what percentage of a year that number of months is. So for example, let's say you have 3 months. 3 months over 12 total months, you simplify that. So 3 over 12, 3 months is what the problem gave you, 12 months in a year. So 3 out of 12 is 1/4. You can pull a 3 out of 3 and you pull a 3 out of 12. So 3/12 of a year is equal to 1/4 of a year. So that would be the 1/4 that you plug into your I equals P times R times T equation. All right? So let's look at a couple others. If you have 5 months, so 5 months out of 12 months, you can't pull anything out of that. So it's just 5 months is 5/12 of a year. All right? 6 months. 6 months out of 12 months, well, you can pull a 6 out of both the 6 and the 12, so 6 months is half a year. All right, 4 months out of 12 total months in a year, you can pull a 4 out of the 4 and the 12, so 4 months is 1/3 of a year. All right, so that the 3 months is 1/4 of a year. 5 months, there's nothing we can do there, so 5 months is 5/12 of a year. 6 months is 1/2 of a year. All right, 4 months is 1/3 of a year. So you have to convert your months to years by dividing by 12 whenever you want to plug it into T. All right, otherwise you will get a different answer. So suppose your friend has earned 5.51 interest after 9 months. If the annual interest rate is 3%, how much principal is in the account? So let's look at some important information. You have $5.51 in interest. You have 9 months. Interest rate is 3%, and they want to know principal. So I equals P times R times T. Well, let's label all these things. 5.1 is my interest, 9 months is my time, interest rate is 3%, principal is P. So I labeled all of those, and now let's start plugging in. So 5.51 equals principal times my rate, which is 0.03 times my time. So you notice I left time blank, even though I know it's 9 months. And that's because we're going to do some scratch work up top. 9 months divided by 12 months in a year. I can pull a 3 out of both of those, so that turns 9 divided by 3 is 3, 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 9/12, 9 months, 9/12 of a year is 3/4 of a full year. All right? So instead of writing 9 months, I'm going to write 3/4. So I plug that in for T, and now let's simplify. 5.51 equals P times 0.03 times 3/4. So 5.51 equals P times 0.0025, because 0.03 times 3/4 from the step above, right up here, is 0.0225. So how do you get P by itself? Well, you divide both sides by 0.0225. Those guys cancel out, and you're just left with P. 5.51 divided by 0.0225 is $244.88. So you put $244.88 into your account at the beginning of your account. All right. Let's look at some questions from your homework. So suppose you earn $3.75 in interest in account A, $8 in interest in account B after 6 months. So they both were in there for 6 months. Simple interest rate is 3% for account A, 4% for account B. Which account has a greater principal? So let's highlight stuff. $3.75 interest, account A. $8 interest, account B. They're both in there for 6 months. 3% account A, 4% account B. So let's write I equals P times R times T and plug in what we know. So I'm going to do all the account A in green. So what do I know? I know I have $3.75 in interest. I know it was in there for 6 months, and I have 3%. So let's solve it. $3.75 is my interest times P times 0.03. All right, all that green from the problem. But I also I left my T blank here because we have to convert the 6 months to years. So 6 months out of 12 months in a year simplifies to 1/2. So I'm going to plug in that 1/2 right there for my time. So 375 equals P times 0.03 times 1/2. So if you multiply 0.03 times 1/2, you get 0.015. How do you get P by itself? Divide each side by 0.015. Those guys cancel. So you're left with P equals 3.75 divided by 0.015. So P is 250. Let's do account B in yellow. So same process. $8 in interest, so 8 takes the I spot, equals P times 0.04, because my rate is 4%. And then it's also in there for 6 months, which we already know from account A, this is half a year. So 0.04 times 1/2. So you simplify, 8 equals P times 0.02, divide each side by 0.02. Those guys cancel out. P is 8 divided by 0.02, which is 400. So which account had more principal at the beginning? Account B had the greater principal because it had $400. Account A only had $250. Let me know if you have any questions.